Hey everybody, Nick Bisaccia here at the Cabinet Joint. Just wanted to talk to you today about plain sawn, rift sawn, and quarter sawn white oak. All the advantages, some of the disadvantages, and some of the struggles we're seeing with harvesting and sourcing this product, as well as limitations, price, lead time, and so on. So the first one I have here is considered plain sawn or standard white oak. One of the things you'll notice is the cathedral grain. Okay, this is due to the way it is sawn at the sawmills. You're going to see on the screen an overlay with plain sawn, quarter sawn, and rift sawn, and the difference. In America, primarily what our sawmills are doing is maximizing yield. And to do that, they take the round log and they open the first face, get their first piece of lumber, and then rotate and do the same thing over and over and over again so that they can maximize size of boards, quality of boards, and ultimately have the best yield output. From there, we get all different types of grades within that one log, but this is the primary way we are sawing in the United States. So beautiful cathedral grains. However, that's not for everybody, especially when it comes to our oaks, and in particular, white oak. Increasing in popularity is rift white oak. Rift tends to be really the pinnacle of quality. It tends to be the hardest to obtain, and it's because it's only from a small portion of each log. Okay, the logs are quartered, well, they're halved and then quartered, and then cut specifically to give you this straight grain appearance. Okay, notice how it is not only pinned straight, but very similar in detail, versus a quarter sawn, which is also going to be straight grained, yet is going to have what we would call figure or fleck. This is the ways in which the medullary rays cut across the grain. And that gives it this almost a shimmer that's found a little bit closer to the interior of the log. Both of these cuts in rift and quartered yield significantly less lumber, usable lumber, to produce products out of. Because it yields so low, not many mills are cutting this, so it's usually a special mill to receive these from. And then since you've lost quite a bit of usable material, that naturally is going to drive the price up. And so in regards to cabinetry, going from plain sawn or standard white oak to a rift, you're looking at 25 to 30% increase in the price. Okay, that's not for everybody, but that's just something that we have to deal with. If this is the look you're going for, then price is going to be a big factor there. The second piece is that there's limited quantities. Because there's so few mills that are actually cutting rift and quarter oaks, the lead times tend to be longer, and not necessarily because it takes longer to produce. It's just because the supply is so low that you can only order or obtain certain portions, smaller quantities, and with the popularity, everybody's going through this very rapidly. And so that's leading to more strain on the supply, making it harder to obtain for use. So a couple other considerations when it comes to white oak is really the color variation. And this is what we want everybody to be conscious of as you're making these decisions on whether or not this is the species for you. White oak has a very wide range of colors that are within specification. And when it comes to making panels, you can see even in this example here, all within spec, but you see vast differences in the color. Again, within the specifications of the product. So we have very light tones all the way to much darker tones. These would not be disqualified from going into production. We try to color select to a degree, but the strains on white oak as a species has only increased over the years. So we have a very wide range of acceptable colors that all are within specification and can go into our products. You see that most distinctly in the panels. Most of the pictures on social media and everywhere else shows a very natural finish. This is very popular right now. We love it. It looks great. And so it almost gives the appearance of being unfinished. If you can see in this example I have before you, this is an unfinished side with a natural clear coat. Just like when you would wet wood or even concrete for that matter, it darkens in appearance. So be mindful if you're ordering a natural finish, it's not unfinished. Unfinished is significantly lighter, much more subdued versus a finish. This is simply a clear coat. And you can see in this picture, significantly darkens. So what did we do to try to help you? So in a plain sawn example of white oak, we have unfinished at the bottom, a natural stain. You can see the darkening. This is a nutmeg, and then we have, you know, your white, your gray, your dark options. To achieve that really unfinished natural feel, this nutmeg seems to be closest. So just keep that into consideration when you're making your choice of what happens to the wood after you apply the stain. So there's plain sawn, another one in rift, unfinished, natural, and then different stains as well. As you can see, that straight grain, no figure, very consistent grain pattern, just beautiful. And then quartered, which honestly is my favorite. I love figured woods, whether it be curly maple, whether it be even rustic grades of cherry and even a colonial poplar. But this quarter sawn white oak, I think is just stunning to the eye, picks up the light very well. Again, your unfinished, clear finish, and then your 4 other stain options. So white oak in general is used primarily in flooring, in furniture, and then probably the most glorious or most fun aspect is it's the only species used in barrel making. So for your wine and your bourbons, it's white oak. It's one of the few species, at least North American species, that has closed cells and is able to retain liquid with inside, right? So keep your wine in the barrel. In the forest, coopers get first dibs on all of the pure white oak. After that, you see flooring mills, you see furniture mills, and then after that, you have the rift and quartered and just regular lumber. We have huge demand in European countries for white oak. There's just a lot of products that are made from white oak, and it's increased in demand, and popularity has only put even further strain on this product. So supply chains tend to be strained, sourcing the materials hard. So that means that our manufacturing facilities are going to be casting their nets in a much wider range. So, I mean, some of the wood is being harvested in southern regions to middle Atlantic regions to north and everywhere in between. And growing seasons are different in each one of those regions, as well as some of the colors. Okay, so there's kind of the nuts and bolts of the 3 primary cuts of white oak. All beautiful in their own right, but all very, very distinct and different. So should you choose the rift, just remember, rift is straight grain, no fleck or no figure. Quartered, straight grain with figure. It's actually a minimum amount of fleck and figure that's required to qualify for quartered. And then your plain sawn. Okay, these are 3 traditional ways in which lumber is cut. There's a few others, whether it be veneer peeling or rotary or slicing or even live sawn, which we see significantly in European countries. So those are your 3 primary cuts. So I say all that not to scare you, but to prepare you. White oak is a fantastic species. It's the most popular for a reason. It looks lovely. It's really a warm tone. I just want you to be prepared to make the most educated decision you can. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, give us a call. I'd be happy to talk to you. 888-211-6482.